It's that time of the day where we get to visit you for this week's episode of An Nur the Light. Assalamu alaikum, I greet you in the name of peace. We kick off this week's episode in the Eastern Cape with a profile of a young man who's doing amazing things in his community. There is a very popular saying that the youth are our future and their vision and enthusiasm and knowledge is what will give us a better tomorrow. Port Elizabeth in the Eastern Cape had one such young person in the form of Mukhtar Rabban, who at 19 years old found the Eastern Cape Muslim Broadcasting Association. Under this banner, 10 years ago, they applied and were granted the first Muslim community radio station, which is still in operation today.
Primarily, the main instigator, if I could say that, was Mukhtar Rabban. And he invited all the Muslim organizations and masajids to form a committee that could, look after the radio. I think he wanted a little bit more unity amongst us. And you can see that the invitations that were sent out were to all the communities. He's extremely intelligent. A young person like that, we're talking about now 13 years ago. He had such visions and ideas that I don't think the normal group of people that we were associated with thought that it was a good idea anyway, because it was so far-fetched, and from a child actually to come up with all these things was a little bit too much for them.
Religion has always played a central role in Mukhtar's life, and having set up the Muslim radio station, he pursued his Islamic studies in the holy city of Medina. This earned him the title of Sheikh, and he soon returned to his beloved Port Elizabeth, where he would set up the Al-Arqam College of Islamic Education, where he continues teaching the youth in his community.
The Al-Arqam school was obviously for the community, basically trying to get all the community involved in learning and teaching deen, various aspects of deen. To teach how to make our salah, how to fast, etc., all those different, and obviously about the imams, about the sahaba. We have a very encouraging program with regards to hadith and benefits that we can take from the hadith, and obviously we do the aqaid as well, the beliefs, which is extremely important. Sheikh Mukhtar is always challenging us to better ourselves. He's someone who always has something to do. He's a very busy person. He always has his goals, aims. Also, obviously there for the community. He's there for the betterment of the community.
His thirst for knowledge remained, and he enrolled at the Nelson Mandela Metropolitan University, where he now lectures in Arabic and applied sciences.
In 2012, I started at the NMMU as a lecturer in applied language studies, and also tasked with starting up the studies for the Arabic studies unit at the university. And in the first year, I was registering certificates, short learning programs in Arabic, and it launched in 2013. I completed my base studies in Islamic studies, and I selected Arabic and teaching methodology as majors at the Islamic University of Medina. And this was in reality my start in academia. And when I returned to South Africa, I applied to the university with the idea of starting up Arabic studies and possibly contributing to their language studies department. Coming from an Islamic perspective, conventionally we understand the idea of da'wah, that we have to impart and educate people directly. And I felt after completing teaching methodology and focusing on that on my honors level in Medina, I felt that I wanted to go into the teaching line and rather impart from that perspective. Now, naturally, I did not want to limit myself to Islamic studies exclusively, and so I went into language studies, and even part of my postgrad studies with Stellenbosch University, I'm focusing on language studies and how teaching methodology is shaped by technology. And that is what I also contribute to at the NMMU.
Not content with just this, Sheikh Mukhtar also runs an online Islamic university where he contributes on a regular basis.
I started teaching for the Islamic Online University, Islamic studies on a higher level, engaging in international market, which really opened my eyes. When you teach an international class, you have to return to the pristine nature of Islamic sciences, uninfluenced by culture and politics and so forth, and simply look at Islam and its origins. And students were requesting this. And as such, I saw it necessary to establish a college to cater for that.
At such a young age, Sheikh Mukhtar Rabban has achieved much more than some people can in a lifetime. His love for teaching is surpassed only by his love for the religion of Islam. By his own admission, there is still much more for him to do, but for now, he continues to be a positive role model to all those who cross his path. Our quest to showcase the hip and happening Muslim brothers and sisters of South Africa continues with street style. Let's see what the Western Cape has to offer.
Refract is the scarf styling company that I started a year and a half ago. It's predominantly pin-free scarves that is used for turban styling as well as normal scarf styles. And I also have a range of Georgette scarves. Another part of Refract is the turban styling workshops that I host, where I teach ladies how to wrap turbans. It's an interactive workshop where ladies come to the classes to learn about 5 different turban styles. It's interactive and I help them through the different styles as well. With the turbans, I generally always used to do turbans. You know, as a Muslim female, wearing headscarf is part of our religion. But then I wasn't always comfortable with, you know, because I'm a very hot person, I don't do well with being fully covered as yet. So the turbans was just always second nature for me. Modesty, when choosing my outfits, modesty is a very important factor for me. I want to be covered and comfortable in the sense that I'm also dressing according to my religion. So I'm always covered from top to bottom and always but trying to be as fashionable as possible as well. So for me, turban is part of who I am at this point. It's also a representation of my brand. It's also, for me, I feel that it is very comfortable to wear. It doesn't move around and things like that. And as I am a girl on the go, I need that in my life. I can't spend 5-10 minutes 4 or 5 times a day readjusting my scarf. So it's ideal for me.
Islam came to South Africa over 350 years ago, and it continues to grow every year. The Laingsburg Mosque is just about ready to open its doors to the Muslim community, and we got to spend the day there. For Ishmael and Bashir Abayat, Toast River became their home when they decided to leave the rat race of the city behind and move to a farm in the area to do the work of the Almighty. After building a mosque in the small town, they continued to promote the growth of Islam and cater to the community.
The reason we came to Toast River is that over weekends, me and my wife used to travel all over, you know, the continent here to see what is happening with Islam on the outside. And we found that in many places that Islam doesn't exist. So we decided to come up here and bring the word to these places. As a Toast River Islamic Society, we wanted to make a difference to that. And alhamdulillah, so far we've been very successful in achieving that.
The Toast River Mosque has since expanded as the Muslim community slowly grows in the small town. It now boasts madrasa classes and women's facility for prayer and the study of Islam. The mosque has become a popular stop for Muslims traveling along the busy route and caters to their religious needs.
The madrasa started once a week, twice a week. Now it's full time, so that's how it's grown. Maybe starting with 2 children, we have 6 children now. We are actually growing slowly but surely. We had actually a maulana that was employed here, not just an ordinary imam. So he was well versed, he taught Hafiz. The masjid has improved for the community outside there.
alhamdulillah, it's not on the best of the scale that we would like it to be, but it's growing, alhamdulillah. We planted a seed, and alhamdulillah, maybe we won't be able to see the tree one day, but I'm sure the fruit will be benefit to everybody else, inshallah.
We met Buta Ismail and Auntie Bashira the first time, and then wonderful people. They're my pillar now, you know. Whatever I need, whatever I ask for, whatever information, I go to them. They like the info, the info department. So alhamdulillah, I am very much pleased, and I can be grateful and thankful to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that Buta Maili and Auntie Bashira was here before me, you know.
10 years later, the Bayats, now residents of Toes River, came across the town of Lanesburg that too had no Muslim place for prayer, nor for the traveller and Muslim residents there. They took it upon themselves to apply for land to build a place of worship.
We've decided to establish a masjid here in Lanesburg as well, for the simple reasons that we have to spread the deen of Islam, you know, and also to the people that's not aware of the existence of Islam and the existence of our Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. So we are here to change all that. And by planting a seed, putting up this masjid will also give the river some sense of belonging.
Lanesburg is an ideal position for, especially for travellers going through, and also I think the Lanesburg Muslim community is on the rise there.
This is the main prayer hall for the males. Like I said, we're still busy putting up some pillars here, and we still got to take it to roof height and wait for the roof to be fitted. It's quite much bigger than the Toaster Field March, because this one we actually built out of the ground.
There's a lot more work to be done besides the brickwork. Like you said, this is only the foundation, it's only the beginning stages. So there's like the roof, like you said, the electricity, all the peripherals that comes with finishing a house. It's exactly the same thing.
The Bayats leave the comfort of their home to move their lives into a caravan each week. As the building goes up, the couple are close by, camped outside the structure to lend a helping hand and supervise the construction of the masjid.
We decided we needed to come and oversee the masjid project. We needed to provide a service, because when we said we were going to take on people to build the masjid, we needed, decided to have people to build it. We needed to oversee. And with the overseeing, we needed to provide material for these guys for the building. This one guy this builder said to me now, you know, Auntie Titi, I know you, but better now. I said, can you believe it that we could actually work hand in hand and we could actually bond with each other? He says, I said, can you see now two different religions can work together, and a lot of them feel that they can't work together, but we're showing them that we can. It's important for the people to know what Islam is really about, to see what Islam is about. That's important for us. And from there, we hope it's going to grow, inshallah.
Ismail and Bashira Bayat are shining examples of living a life for the glory of Allah. Having dedicated their lives to serving these small communities, one thing is certain: their legacy will continue to touch the lives of people for many years to come. The Tafsir segment came about as our way to inspire viewers to remain close to the Holy Quran. Sheikh Ismail Lant has effortlessly coordinated with a few Qaris to recite for us while he delivers the translation.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم إن هذا القرآن يهدي للتي هي أقوم ويبشر المؤمنين الذين يعملون الصالحات أن لهم أجرا كبيرا وأن الذين لا يؤمنون بالآخرة أعتدنا ويدعو الإنسان بالشر دعاءه بالخير وكان الإنسان عجولا صدق الله العظيم.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Peace be upon you. The verses so beautifully recited were from chapter 17 of the Holy Quran, verse 8 to 11. It speaks of a few important things. It firstly addresses the fact that mercy, divine mercy, is there for the taking. All it requires of us is to make better choices in life. If we return to old ways, we cannot expect different results. We have to learn from our past, learn from our mistakes, and try to do better for better results. It speaks of guidance, and that guidance is there without force. The Holy Quran is the only religious scripture that mentions or that highlights that there is no forcing in deen, la ikraha fi deen. It's there for the taking as well. And it mentions the fact that glad tidings are there for those who accept guidance and who condition their lives according to the guidance. Last but in no way least, it speaks about man's innate haste, man's desire for things almost immediately. Self-gratification is the order of the day, and instead of pacing oneself and planning better for better outcomes, we live in the moment, and what it may result in is regret. There is no benefit in temporary pleasure that results in eternal regret. Al-ajlatu min al-shaytan wa ta'anni min al-rahman. Haste is negative. However, pacing oneself and planning better, that is or will result in divine mercy. There's nothing that haste results in but regret, whereas working towards wholesome outcomes will result in peace and success and joy. May we all pace ourselves better. May we all be guided towards clarity in thought so as to make better decisions regarding life, and may we all become deserving of divine mercy. Ameen. Amen. Thank you. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
We would love to hear from you and encourage everyone to share their thoughts and ideas for stories. Details are on screen. Lamise is in the kitchen ready to cook some Italian with a twist.
Assalamu alaikum. So pizza, pasta, anything Italian is always a firm favorite. And today I'm going to be sharing my pasta arrabbiata recipe with you, this time made with prawns. And the ingredients that we need for this are the following. I've got 800 grams of prawns, and these have been shelled and deveined. It just makes pasta that much easier to eat. And our aromatics for this recipe is 2 tablespoons of garlic. I've used the garlic paste. I've got 2 tablespoons of tomato paste. I've got 1 heaped teaspoon of dried basil. You can use fresh basil, it's always nicer, but you get the intensity of flavor from the dried basil. And then I've got some red crushed chilies. Then I've got 1 tin, and that's the 410 gram tin of diced peeled tomatoes, but keep the juices. And then I've got 1 onion that's been finely cubed. I've got a little bit of salt, just for taste, and a little bit of sugar, just to take the edge off the tomato, some fresh Italian flat leaf parsley for garnish, and then of course our oil for frying. As you know, with any seafood, before you start frying it, always add just a little bit of salt, and this just helps to plump it up and to help it maintain its juices so you don't get that dry bit of fish or seafood. Salt, give this a quick mix. And then into my pan goes my oil. And now we're going to start frying our prawns. So I'm going to place them into the pan one by one, making sure that you don't overcrowd your pan, because then what's going to happen is they're just going to boil. as I'm going to cook these in batches, I'm going to put them in the plate, keep them to one side, and then we're going to start making our sauce. And believe it or not, these can come out. And in the same pan that we've just fried our prawns, I'm going to add a little bit of oil, and we're going to start sauteing our onions. Now, this is probably the bit that takes the longest within a arrabbiata if you're using the tinned tomatoes, because you really want to make sure that you saute your onions until they're nice and caramelized. So that's about a cup of onions. And to this, I'm going to add just a sprinkling of salt, just to egg on the cooking process. Okay, so my onions are nicely sauteed and caramelized, and now I'm going to add my chopped peeled tomatoes, and now we just start building our sauce. So to this, I'm going to add my 2 tablespoons of tomato paste. And now we're going to add our dried parsley. So this is about a heaped teaspoon of dried parsley. You can use the fresh variety, and you can even garnish with a fresh basil afterwards. And then is my teaspoon of crushed red chili. Now again, depending on how hot you like it, add more, add less. I always like it hot, and you could even add some fresh chilies to this, or even substitute the dried chili for fresh chilies. And then what is an Italian dish without garlic, and loads of it? And I'm using 2 tablespoons of garlic paste. And you don't want your garlic to cook for too long, because when garlic burns, it tends to go bitter. And just to take that sour edge off of our tomatoes, I'm going to add literally just a tablespoon of sugar. And then, of course, some salt to taste. And that essentially is nearly the end of your arrabbiata sauce. The only thing we need to do now is reintroduce our prawns so that the sauce and the prawns can get to know each other again. I'm going to add all of that. And make sure that they get a good coating and every little morsel is flavoursome. And I'm going to serve this up family style. So what I've got cooked and ready is my fusilli pasta. I'm going to place this in a large bowl, and this way everybody just gets to help themselves. And onto my pasta, I'm adding all of my prawns with a sauce. Pour that over the top. And to finish, all this needs is a sprinkling of fresh Italian parsley, and if you like, slivers of Parmesan cheese. And there we have it, Italian family style. So until next time, ciao bella.
Remember, you can view all our episodes on YouTube, and we encourage you to share them with your friends and family, both near and far. Shukran for tuning in. Assalamu alaikum from me, Zahra Robinson.